Okay, thank you, Greg, for coming in. I really appreciate that this opportunity. I think a lot of new, especially Japanese holders, would be interested to know what Dexio Protocol is doing. So, can you briefly introduce what Dexio Protocol is and what is your role?
Yeah, so my name is Greg Gold. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Dexioprotocol. I'm also the co-owner of the project. And Don Reika from Amsterdam and I are the owners of the project. So in the briefest sense that I can give for these purposes, Dexioprotocol is a project focused on bringing new people into crypto. Okay, that's kind of our main vision. So our vision statement is, our vision is a world in which blockchain technology is mainstream and vastly more people are connected by it. And the way that we want to bring new people into crypto is through what we call a super ecosystem of games, a network, an exchange, and then business to business and business to person relationships that connect people and businesses together through that exchange, those games, and that network.
All right, thank you. And what do you usually do as the part of the role?
So most of my job, honestly, is, I think trying to organize people on the team, bring new people into the team, and keep all the different facets of what we're doing moving forward. So we have game development happening, we have network development happening, we have other product development happening, marketplace, Emporium, wallet. So there's a lot of development stuff that's going on that's connected, but also independent. And so there's different groups of people working on things. And then there's obviously the operations of the business itself, managing the communities and managing the marketing and managing the promotions, the branding, all the design stuff. So most of my job is literally just talking to people and trying to organize stuff. And then I'm also the primary writer for the company, so I write most of the documents, right? And I have help with that, but so my job is to be the voice in a lot of ways of the company. I mean, Don and I try to share that as much as we can. I tend to talk a lot more than Don, and English is that most people communicate in, and English is my first language, and so I try to be kind of the voice, and also to provide some guidance. I'm also a lot older than most of the people in crypto, and so I try to provide some experience and guidance, as a senior person.
Thank you so much. So moving on, what is the most difficult part of bringing Dexihunter to life?
Well, so Dexihunter is an incredibly complex application. So I've worked on some different applications, both with Dexi and then also in my other professional roles, and it is a highly complex thing. So we're bringing augmented reality together with blockchain technology, and we're trying to do that in the most fun and interactive way that we can, while also providing a resource to bring new people into crypto, as I discussed before, and then also, giving the application what I would call fringe benefits, right? So we are integrating a leaderboard to try to kind of create some competition with people, some what I would call group activities. There's a chatting function, so there's a whole social part to it. You can have friends on the app. You can request that your friends go out hunting with you. You can chat with each other. You can see who's been collecting the most bounties, who's been walking.
So it's not only a bounty hunt, but you could actually socialize.
It's a social app. Yeah. So again, our vision is a world in which blockchain technology is mainstream and vastly more people are connected by it. That the key word there is connected, right? We want people to connect. And we want people who are newbies in crypto to connect with people who are not newbies in crypto, right? Because that's gonna create synergy, right? So the hardest part about it is that there's like so many aspects of it that we're trying to bring together and make all work together that it's been a challenge to. We don't want to put something out there that has already been done. We don't want to put something out there that is just is so basic that people might be interested in it for 5 minutes. We want to put something out there that people can really sink their teeth into, connect with other people, really enjoy and have fun with.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you so much. Then moving on, what made you decide to take the position of COO of Dexioprotocol?
Well, so when I first found Dexy, what actually happened was I was in another Telegram chat. I had read something on Discord about another project, and it was a project that had copied what Dexy was doing. And I hadn't heard of Dexy, and Dexy was about 3 weeks old.
Okay.
Don actually got into the chat to try to tell people, hey, these guys, this is probably a rug pull. These guys are copying everything that we've done. They probably haven't done any of these things. So, and he messaged me separately and actually saved me from investing in a rug pull. That's a true story. So that's how Don and I met. We kind of kept chatting, and I just fell in love with the whole idea. Don is a really amazing guy. He's a wonderful human being. And so we really hit it off and just started talking, and it became clear that though there was a lot of vision and there was a lot of enthusiasm, that there was there was some lack of experience in the kind of organizational business sense of things. So I've been very fortunate in my professional life and also in my personal financial life, and made some pretty good decisions. So it enabled me to kind of step away from my roles with my other businesses and focus on what we were doing here with Dexy.
It's kind of amazing. It was sort of a coincidental thing that kind of happened there.
I like to use the word serendipitous. Yes. It was serendipitous. Yeah.
It was meant to be then.
Yeah, it's kind of an amazing story. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. This might be a little bit difficult to answer, but what do you think? What makes Dexioprotocol special among other, say, similar type of projects from your point of view? Yeah.
Excuse me. I think that's a question that I could spend a long time answering, but I'll try to be as succinct as I can be. The thing I think that we're doing that no one else is doing is not no one else is doing. I don't know what other people are doing, but the thing that we're doing that you don't see a lot of other projects trying to do is we're creating what, again, I call a super ecosystem, right? We want to, and we are developing a whole body of products and applications that will enable people to come to new people in crypto, to come to Dexio and have everything that they need to enjoy gaming, to get, if they're interested in developing a project, to develop their own smart contracts. If they're just interested in trading, we have a swap. They can come to us and they can, have everything that they need to get involved in crypto. And the, I think most interesting part about that is our approach to bringing people in through gaming, and then through the way that we're approaching advertising or connecting with businesses through the gaming, through Dexihunter in particular. I think that's what makes us different, right? The other thing that makes us different is that the reality of the future is that blockchain is the future of all record keeping. Okay.
Yeah, yes, true.
That's all a blockchain is, right? A blockchain is just a ledger. It's a digital ledger, right? And I think people oftentimes confuse what blockchain and, they confuse blockchain and crypto. These are not the same things. Mm-hmm. Blockchain is a technology. It's a digital ledger. Crypto is the way that we interact with that, right?
Right.
So the future of record keeping is definitely blockchain. Every medical record, financial record, everything that we do will be on a blockchain. But this idea that crypto is going to be the sole future of economic reality, I think is not right. There is going to be a marriage between fiat currencies and cryptocurrency. And we're already seeing that in a lot of ways, right?
Right.
And so the thing that we're doing that I don't see really anyone else doing, especially not on the microcap level, is, we are putting fiat revenue streams in place in our business model. And we are creating products that people can use without crypto, right? Games will be able to be played without crypto. And the reason we're doing that is because the future is this hybrid model of a marriage between fiat and crypto.
Exactly.
We know that. And so, we want to make sure that there's balanced revenue streams in place that can help support the project and the operations of the project, payroll, bills, but that there's also, and that there's money in place, fiat in place, to help stabilize the value of the coin and token, right?
Right.
That's Dexigas, right? So we can use those things to facilitate, buybacks and price controls, right? To help us, control the value of the tokens, and at the same time invest into development that helps us create more utility for the crypto portion of the business, right?
Right.
So there has to be this balance, and we're really approaching this from the very beginning of, okay, how do we balance these things? And you'll see here in the next, few months as we roll out these P2E aspects of the games in Dexihunter, that both of these things are going to be in place, and I think that people are going to be really happy with how we are trying to tackle this hybrid model. So I think that's really what makes us different, is building the super ecosystem and then the hybrid business model.
Yeah, I think the hybrid business model will be one of the key factors of success, because eventually a lot of projects will be shifting, but that's one of the really difficult parts of in terms of technology.
Well, the thing is, as a businessman, right, my job has been to make money my whole life, right? That's been my job. My job is, how do I develop businesses to the point where they're profitable and make money, right? And I've been doing this since I was, 20 years old. So for 25 years, that's been my job. And in my own businesses and other people's businesses, I've worked in consulting, all kinds of stuff, right? And so I look at most crypto projects and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Where's the money? How are you, and you see these, I'm not going to harp on some of these, things that have collapsed, but, you look at a lot of these, rebase tokens, the DAOs,
Right.
and even some of these gaming projects. And it's pretty obvious when you just look at it from a critical point of view, you just go, that's not a sustainable model. You can't, there's no way, so I called a whole bunch of collapses, right? And so it's funny because a lot of people on my team, they're like, Greg, what do you think about this? What do you think about, like I'm some kind of prophet? I'm not a prophet, but I can just look at, especially something like, for example, Wonderland. When Wonderland was peaking out, I was like, hey guys, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't, like, how are they, this is not a sustainable model. And I tried to, and actually one of our major Dexy investors was pretty heavily invested in Wonderland. And I was like, dude, get out. Like, that's not a good situation. There's no way that can survive. Well, they can't keep that up. So you look at a lot of these crypto projects and they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And you're just, okay, yeah, but where's the money? What are you guys doing to generate revenue? And I think, some of these businesses, these crypto projects will shift into revenue models. I mean, look at what Solana is doing with Visa, right? So, Solana is shifting into, because they have this network that can process all these transactions, they're shifting into transactional processes with traditional major corporations. Right? So that's the thing that you're going to see, right? Even Coinbase, one of the things that people don't realize about Coinbase is that a massive portion of their revenue comes from their advertising on their app, right? So it's not just the exchange. I think 60% of their revenue comes from advertising. So I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on that, but so the thing that people, I think, they see like these parabolic motions and charts, and they think, it's like, okay, the value proposition is always, what is somebody willing to pay for something? That's always the value proposition, right? That's always what value is. If pardon my language, but if I take a dump and somebody buys that shit off me for $1 million, that's $1 million piece of shit, but it's just the truth, so things are only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. Exactly. And, so in any value proposition, you have, buyers and sellers, right? And the sellers are really are the ones that are trying to determine the price, but the buyers are the ones that determine the price. And so when you have parabolic motion like that, you have a whole bunch of, buyers stepping on each other and creating these parabolic movements and charts. But that doesn't actually create value.
Right, yeah.
Right?
It's not the actual value right there.
No, that's the value proposition. That's not the value. That's the proposition. And so, value comes from people being able to use something, right? So something is only really valuable if it either solves a problem or makes something in your life more efficient. Okay. I mean, from a business technology standpoint, obviously something is only really valuable if you can eat it, drink it, sleep under it, or wear it, right? We're right? So, value in business comes from, a business's value comes from, are you solving a problem or are you making something that people are doing more efficient, right? And that's not parabolic motion in charts.
True.
That those are not the same thing. So that's the part that we are very focused on. Look, we want to create utility and value for our tokens, and we're doing that. But we also want to create sustainable revenue streams so that we can balance the business.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So moving on, that's okay. This is the one I'm really interested in. Okay. For the nominated 5 cities for Dexihunter, which will be coming up, can Japan still make it, or say other cities make it in time if we have enough numbers of members or hikes?
I do think so, yeah, man. And I think that in particular the in America, anyways, we tend to equate the Japanese with technology, right? We tend to equate Japan with steeped tradition and then advanced technology, right? I mean, just the other day, one of my friends was like, talking to me about the trains you guys have in Japan and how amazing they are. He saw some video about something and he was like, man, we get trains like that, And I was like, yeah, we're never going to get trains like that. But so, I think that, and also I think augmented reality itself will be, very popular and useful in especially Japanese cities, right?
Yeah, I really think so. Well, compared to the US, most of us actually in big cities, we travel with trains, and we get to really walk. I think there are much more opportunities comparing to other countries that we drive, but we don't drive, especially inside the cities. I mean, parking spaces are extremely expensive, and especially in Tokyo, even center of Osaka. So what's nice is that if we're holding phones, we could actually, a lot of us actually walks. So
right. Yeah. So this is another thing I was going to say is that there's definitely there's definitely a lot of cities that are not necessarily on our list because we don't have boots on the ground there. That would be really good for the promotion of Dexihunter. So because there's really beautiful places that it would do well with all the videos.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Recordings.
So actually we're still barely in time then. If we have enough.
I think that I'm trying to say this in a way to not overcommit, but I think that it's a very reasonable thing for us to use the fact that we're launching a promotion in Japan to drive more interest there. And so I think, you know, and there's some other places, like I said, that, you know, that are on the radar, like New York City or, you know, Paris, that we don't really have a lot of boots on the ground, and we don't have huge communities there. In New York, we actually have quite a few people, but I think if we said, "Hey, we're doing this," it would bring in a lot more people.
Oh yeah,
so
sure, of course, yeah.
I would like to see the numbers up in our Japanese community and activity up. You know, before we made that kind of commitment, for sure. But I'm certainly not opposed to making it one of the 5, if not the first 5, then the next 5, which will happen.
Okay.
Which will happen very fast. You know, as soon as we get the first 5 done, you know, we're going to roll out probably 10 more, and then we'll probably roll out, you know, 40 or 50 more. We need to kind of get our sense of how things are working and make sure that all the mechanics are working right, and the servers are running and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll be looking forward to it. Okay, this would have sort of a relationship with Dexihunter, but I think the possibility with that platform is enormous. Meaning that what kind of partnerships and collaboration are you planning to utilize from Dexihunter platform?
Right. So the main thing that I think, you know, and we talk about in the white paper is we want to facilitate relationships between the users and the projects that we partner with. So obviously, you know, we can drop whatever tokens we want into the application, tokens or coins that we want. So developing relationships, partnerships with other projects, and then the QR code function, which is partnerships with businesses, allowing businesses to drop their QR codes, which are scannable, that can do all kinds of things. You know, as we saw from the Coinbase Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's how I think we're, you know, we're gonna facilitate those relationships, and also there in the initial beta, we're not going to do this with every collection sequence, but for the most part, the collection sequences will have you'll have to answer some questions. For now, it's going to be questions about crypto because we want to educate people.
Okay.
And you know, as we partner with businesses and projects, there'll be questions about those projects and about those businesses, and then there'll be action steps before you can actually collect the crypto. So you have to follow a Twitter or like follow a YouTube or something like that. So we'll be able to. The idea is to get the users to get actively involved with the crypto that they're collecting, right? And the businesses that they're collecting QR codes for. And then the other part of that is that by having our own network, we can launch, you know, as many smart contracts as we want on our own network. And what we want to do is we want to try to help these businesses that we're partnering with come into the world of crypto. So provide a platform for them to launch their own tokens, right? So, you know, you can, I don't know if this is true in all places, but certainly in the US and other places that I've been, most businesses have some kind of loyalty or rewards program, right? You know, and so imagine if they could, rather than giving out loyalty points, they could actually distribute their own crypto as a way to get people to come back. They can spend that crypto or use it for discounts or spend it on merchandise or whatever they want. Or they can swap it for something that is else that they want. That's another business that they like, that you know, is part of that same liquidity pool. So you know, not just facilitating relationships between the businesses and the individuals, but for business to business relationships, right? Where you have businesses that are kind of partnering in this way, you know, through liquidity. I think this is a really interesting concept that's not really being explored yet. You have a lot of businesses, major businesses like McDonald's, Walmart, whatever, are getting into the metaverse space. We'll see how that plays out. Chase recently bought a bunch of land in Decentraland. But I say land because I'm not so sure about this
Okay.
real estate stuff. I'm not saying I'm on the fence about it. I kind of like but so that's how we're going to do that, right? That's how we're going to facilitate all those relationships.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Before I get into the last question, Smart Dexio network, SDN, eventually at some point it would be migrated from BSC. And when you start migrating, what kind of images, what kind of features are you seeing there once it migrates onto the SDN?
You mean, what do you mean? What kind of features?
Well, I think a lot of users are not well acquainted on migrating process, and I think it's going to be one of the tough things that you actually have to accomplish before it really gets in. And I believe Dexihunter will be also operating on SDN.
Well, yes. The Dexihunter application, the way that it works is built in Unity, which is a pretty common game software. The way that it actually works is it's not connected to the blockchain.
Okay.
The game itself is not connected to the blockchain necessarily. And what I mean by that is that when you're collecting these bounties, you're doing it in augmented reality, and those bounties are, it's not like the real cryptos floating there, right? It's code on a server attached to a longitude and latitude line. And when your user profile collects that crypto, collects that augmented reality object, it stores as cached data on your application. Then you connect to the blockchain. Basically, tell us that you've collected this thing, and begin the process that we call request to retrieve blockchain asset process. And really, the only part where you have to connect to the blockchain is just wallet connecting to us to inform us of things, and we're actually and giving us wallet addresses to send things to, and then we're actually just sending stuff directly to your wallet, which is really independent of the application. So the application is not itself is not on any network. It's a Unity built application that then talks to servers that then connect to a network, right?
Okay.
But Dexi and DexiGas, excuse me, Dexi and DexiGas will both be on the Smart Dexio network. Dexi will be the coin, the native token of the native coin of the network, and DexiGas will be a smart contract launched on that, paired with Dexi, right? In the same way that Dexi is currently paired with BNB on the Binance Smart Chain. DexiGas will be paired with Dexi on the Smart Dexio network, right? So in terms of the migration, I think, you're right. That's going to be a real challenge. But the thing about migrations and what I think a lot of projects have done wrong, and what we've learned from that is you can't make people do something that they don't want to do, right? And you certainly can't communicate with everybody simultaneously either. I mean, there's 22,000 Dexi holders. I doubt very seriously if there's any way for us to talk to all 22,000.
Right.
So there's people following social media or in the chats, but not everybody, right? So what you have to do is you have to facilitate the migration, but not cut people out who don't get there, right? Which is one of the things that has happened recently with a major project in their migration, right? They put 100% tax on people trying to interact with the old contract, and it caused all kinds of problems. Right?
I probably know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I try not to disparage or mention names, and especially in these kind of things. But and I mean, I don't think that was a malicious thing on their part. I think it was a naive thing on their part. You know, I think it was just they thought, well, this is going to make people, you know, migrate to V2, and in the end, it just caused a whole bunch of people to, you know, unknowingly lose money, right? So, and really angered a lot of people. So you can't do that, right? So what you need to do is you need to create a simple way for people to migrate their tokens, but also not you know, try to prevent people from doing it later. So and that kind of creates a problem. Now, why do people migrate? You know, sometimes projects migrate because there's problems in their current contract, and once the smart contract is deployed, it cannot be changed, right? So, you know, if you found things in your contract that you didn't realize were there, or that you don't like, or that there's some backdoor, or there's some problem in the way that the tokenomics work, or whatever, you want to migrate to a new contract so that you can have, you know, those functions improved, or get rid of things that you don't like. And so I think that's why most projects migrate. We're migrating because we want to get off of someone else's network and onto our own network. And why do we want to do that? Because we want to have control over the protocol, right? We want to be able to dictate what happens in terms of transactions, gas fees, TPS, transactions per second, you know, gas fees, network speed, the way that the proof of authority or proof of stake or proof of work, whatever you're doing, whatever you choose to do, we want to have control over that whole functionality, over who our validators are, how our nodes work, because we want to make sure that we are offering the best possible service that we can to all of our users, our gamers, our business relations, our project partners. And we want to be able to confidently say that we're doing everything that we can to make that the best relationship that we can. And the only way that we can do that is by having control over the entire protocol. So that's why we're moving to our own network. And, you know, is that going to happen in mid-March? Probably not. You know, we have 2 different test networks deployed, and we've deployed smart contracts on them. We're testing all kinds of things. And I am extremely conservative about that process, right? So, you know, we have a whole team of devs that are working on it. We actually are interviewing an outsourced company to help us, you know, test things and run things. We're trying some different versions of some different networks, but that's a big deal. And so, you know, when we first set out on this path, like 4 months ago, I think, and we had the initial test network built, we were, I think, overconfident about what that was. And, you know, we've learned a lot in that process. So, you know, as we started to kind of poke holes in it and push on it, I was like, whoa, you know, we need this to do this, and we need it to do that, and it can't do this, and it can't do that. And so then we did more stuff, and then we deployed another test network to try kind of a different version of what we were doing, and we didn't like that, so we deployed another test network. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we are very focused on getting the Smart Dexio network up and running and getting the migration done. We are not going to rush that. And part of why we had DexiSwap built, had the swap built, was to facilitate the migration, but also to facilitate transactions in the wallet, and to facilitate transaction, you know, swapping transactions for people who want to, you know, be a part of our ecosystem. So, but when it comes time to do the migration, that's going to be a pretty easy thing for people to do. They're going to log the DexiSwap, they're going to connect their wallet, they're going to
just migrate it.
They're going to send their tokens, and they're going to get tokens back. They're going to swap their V1 for their V2. And it's going to be a very, very easy thing for people to do. And we're going to leave that open indefinitely for people to do for as long as they, you know, want to do it. For as long as there's V1 tokens out there in wallets, we're going to let people swap those for V2.
Well, that would be nicer. Not all of the Dexio holders will be doing the migration at the same time. And
no. And I don't know why anybody would do it any other way. It doesn't make any sense to me that the trying to force people off the V1 contract, like, why? What does it matter? Like, if they're not interacting, I mean, what does it matter? the only reason why I think somebody would do that is that they wanted to pull liquidity out of the V1 liquidity pools on the DEXs, but to facilitate some other liquidity or do whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
yeah, but that's pretty sketch.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like okay, like you sold, you produced a product and people invested in it, and now you're taking their ability away from them to be able to interact with that investment. That's a pretty shitty thing to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's kind of gross, really. I don't, I know we all know who I'm talking about, but I don't think that there was maliciousness there. I don't think anybody we're gonna, I don't think that that's what happened. I think that they didn't think about the consequences of it all the way through, and then had to kind of see it through once the consequences started. And it's just like, any rational person would have just immediately said, hey man, like, there's 3 million holders. We're not going to be able to talk to all 3 million people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's not a good, you're going to have a lot of really pissed off people if you do this. And that's what ended up happening. So we're not going to do that.
No. Okay, so this will be my last question today. What is the future direction and vision you're seeking through Dexioprotocol?
So we talked about the hybrid business model, right? And so that's the kind of overarching thing that I am very focused on, and that we as a project are very focused on. We want to do two very fundamental things in business. We want to create sustainable fiat revenue streams and products that people can use with or without crypto. And we want to create utility for our tokens and our coin, and utility for the other tokens that are launched on the Smart Dexio network in a balanced way that allows for us to have sustainable long-term growth, right? That's the thing I'm always talking about, sustainable long-term growth. And how does that happen? That happens by balancing utility for your crypto, utility in your network and in your ecosystem for your crypto, that facilitates the technological advantages of all of that, and sustainable revenue streams that allow you to support your business and support the development of the technology that provides utility for your token. So that's what we're doing long term. That's my focus. My focus is making sure that we develop awesome products that people are excited about using, that create sustainable revenue streams and utility for our tokens. That's it in a nutshell.
All right. Thank you so much. I think these questions really fills out a lot of questions that people had, and hopefully we would be getting much more people inside the community, and in a very near future it would be enhancing the whole entire project. So I'm very much looking for the Dexihunter. This should be coming to Japan someday. So
there. And Daniel, I really appreciate you, man. Your enthusiasm, all your hard work, your commitment to the project, your constant communication and positive attitude. Like I'm super grateful for you, man. So.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be getting another videos sometime in the future. Thank you, Greg, and viewers. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.